everybody to Clodcast, first episode of Clodcast. This was my idea to build a podcast for mainly RC crawling guests. And tonight, in this first episode, or today, it's day there, it's pretty late in here, we have Wyatt Mellon. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, how have you been?
Good. Keeping very busy. Getting ready to go to Arizona Summer Shootout next weekend.
So, it's next weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool. So, have you been in there?
I haven't. No, I've only heard about it, and it's about past few years has been on the same weekend as other events. So this year I made it a point to make it out there. So
yeah, it's a sick place. One of the best in the world, definitely.
That's what I've heard. So I'm excited. Get to run MOA, Sporty, and Super. So
yeah, okay, yeah, they are not driving P scale, so
no
crawler event.
Unfortunately,
yeah. So yeah, then I thought since this is a Clodcast, and the name comes from Tamiya Clodbuster, which is basically the start of the whole crawling in general in radio control cars. What's your relation to Clodbusters? Have you had any?
The closest I've got is having a body for a hard body build.
Yeah. It's something. It's something.
I started with the AX10 Scorpion, the kit. So
okay. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of those as well. That's cool.
Yeah, that was the start. And then I went to scale trucks from there with the first SCX10.
Yeah. So when did you start?
Oh man. When the AX10 came out, so I want to say was that 07?
07, yeah. It's fall 07, I think.
Yeah, so end of 07, early 2008 was when I got in. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in middle school, so.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you have been driving for quite some time also.
Yes.
Mainly scale at first.
Yeah, I started the Scorpion, and then I had the first SX10 Dingo, and I liked that. I don't know why, I just liked that better. But at that time, I also didn't know about competitions, so I didn't find out about competitions until I think it was 2016 or 2017. So I would just, me and 2 or 3 friends would go drive on the weekends, or I would just drive by myself. I didn't know the competitions were out there. So
So you now live in Utah. When did you live back then when you started? Or where did you live?
So I'm originally from Southern California, and I just moved to Utah a year ago, like within the week or so. So just been here about a year. But I actually started comping in Colorado and New Mexico. So I was going to school out there at the time, and brought my 3D printer, brought my SX10-2 with me, and then I just went to some local rocks, happened to see some other guys with crawlers there, and one thing led to another.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's cool. So how have you liked to live in Utah now?
I really like it. So a lot of people warned me it was going to be hot. But where I was in California was about the same. So we get like 110, 115 Fahrenheit at the summer.
Yeah.
So it's warm, but it's okay.
It's hot. It's hot.
Yeah, but the rocks are awesome. So we have a lot of red rocks, and then the white kind of sandstone.
Yeah, stupidly grippy.
Yeah, it's very grippy. Yeah. So you take a set of, if you have Predator compound Proline tires, like maybe 2 packs, and you're already seeing the edges wearing. So yeah, it's quick. A lot of us are running great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So your first trick was the Axial AX10 Scorpio.
Yes. Yep. I did the rear steer on that. I split up my 6-cell nickel metal pack and had 4 cells on the front servo and 2 on the back.
Yeah. Before lipos, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I started early-ish, but not.
It is early. It is early if you have been driving with the big cell packs. It's early.
Yeah, I mean, it was when I started. It was NiCad. So, and then we got the nickel metal, and then we got the 7-cell nickel metal. That was the thing to have. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, well, where did you drive the first competition in, and when was it?
So my first competition was WRCCA with 4C RC squared in New Mexico. That was the club there, and I think at the time I had SX10 rails and 10-2 axles that I had 3D printed because I wasn't buying the fancy parts, and I had probably 4 or 5-year-old Pitbull tires, some 3D printed wheels. I mean, it was nothing special, but that was my first competition to see what was going on, and I got smoked.
Okay. But you got hooked. You continued after that competing.
Yeah. So once I figured that out, I started building a better truck, and then I got into they're running Sporty and MOA, things like that still. So I ended up taking original SCX10 axles, doing the XR mod, and 3D printing my own Sporty chassis. So then when I made the trip down there, I could run 2 classes.
Yeah.
And so that was until probably 2016 to 2019. And then 2019 was my first SORCCA comp. So first real big comp. There were more than 10 people there. And that was the New Mexico, or it was Scale Nationals, but it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
So
and you did pretty well there, right? I think I remember.
I think I was like top 15 in class 2 and class 3.
Yeah.
If I remember right. Maybe top 20. But I didn't know what to expect. So reading the rules and SORCCA and hard body and interior, I mean, I showed up with a dollhouse basically compared to their trucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Full 3D printed hard body. I had interior with I actually sprayed and wrapped with material the seats and the floor, and I mean I didn't know what I was getting into, and a lot of people remember me from that weekend because I was just the guy running around asking a bunch of questions, just watching people, didn't know what to do. So, but it definitely got me hooked. I've been doing it ever since. So.
Yeah. So that was what 2019.
Yes, 2019.
Yeah. So what's after that? There was Scale Nationals. What, 2 years ago? Last time.
There was 2020.
Yeah.
I gotta look at my shirt here. All right, 2020 was in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then 21 got skipped, and then 2022 was in Alabama.
Yeah. So how did the Vegas trip go in 2020?
Vegas was good. I got to experience my first finals in national level comp. So that was fun. Ended up, I think I had 1 podium. I can't remember. That was a lot of comps ago. So that was a lot better. I actually had a class 1 truck. I had never had a class 1 truck before, so I ran an SCX 10.3 with a hard body on it.
Yeah.
It was mainly just to make the trip more worth it. I'd like to drive as many classes as I can if I'm going to make
course.
it. So
yeah,
I had mixed matched wheels and tires. Like it was just throw it together. So I had something.
yeah.
I didn't do too hot in that class. I got to watch the finals for that one.
Yeah.
And then class 2, class 3, I was in the top 5, which was pretty fun. Class 3, my favorite. Can't beat a rear truck. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
That's
that
cool.
one went better. That one was a fun event. A little more into it at that point. A couple years later, or a year later, had a few different builds. Had more of a truck that was ready to go. So I guess I can talk about it now. I don't really talk about it on a lot of live streams. I'm not on a bunch of them, but the truck I ran in class 2 at the Vegas Nationals was the precursor of the SCX10 Pro.
Ah, okay.
So I had already designed and built my truck in early 2019.
Yeah.
So, and that was the truck that I ran at Vegas, and that's the truck I showed Axial that they wanted to then have me create the Pro.
Okay.
So at Vegas Nationals, I was running shiftable underdrive transmission, but nobody knew it.
That's cool. That's cool. That's nice. Yeah. Because that was the one of the questions that I was coming into the whole Axial thing, but we can go there later. But yeah, that was 2020 Vegas, and then I think the previous nationals were the Alabama nationals.
Yes.
How was that? It's different kind of rock and terrain there.
Yes, it's different. Luckily, I had been to East Coast Championship, which is held at the same location. So I'd been there before, kind of knew what to expect as far as terrain and weather. So that one went better.
Weather can be anything in there.
Yes, it can change in 10 minutes. So that one was better. I just couldn't. I was battling the bill, so just couldn't get him. So fell in a few second place, third place spots. But I had him in class 3, and I butchered the final course. So ended up not finishing, and he finished. So or got further.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Almost there, almost got him, but I haven't got anyone on a scale national title yet. So been close.
Yes, and we will have to see when the next ones are coming. It's being silent.
I haven't heard anything. So the next SORCCA comp for me is East Coast Championship in Alabama next month.
Yeah. Okay. So they are running SORCCA and WRCCA there.
Yes, and then they just introduced the micro classes. So, I'll be running 8 classes in 1 weekend.
You are bringing a lot of luggage there.
Yeah, a few bags of cars.
Yeah. You have to hope that the flights to there are not the same as they were to the world. So last year.
So I've
you have to tell that.
From that. Learned my lesson from that. I got direct flights this time, so it was a little more money, but worth it. So I don't lose my stuff.
Yeah, I always do the same. I take direct flights if I can. No stops in between, because there's always the risks are higher when there are more stops. For the questions down there, we thought that we will go to these questions in the end of this stream, because if we start answering all the questions right now, we will be answering them only to them, and I want to ask my own questions. This is my podcast. You can wait, but you can of course put the questions in there, and we can scroll them at the end. So, yeah, the Worlds last year. You have to tell all that adventure. That was quite a trip for you.
Adventure is a word for it.
Yes.
That was, most interesting situation I've had going to a comp so far.
Yeah.
Started my day 10 a.m. at the airport, ready to go.
Yeah.
Flights getting later and later. Then they switched the plane. So waiting a little over an hour, finally get on the plane, headed to Fort Worth in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
So I only had maybe 45 minutes. So I already knew I was missing that once I got on the plane from Utah. So missing that, on my phone as much as I can, trying to find a flight. They don't have anything. I go to the desk. I go, hey, I need to get here I have to be here by 8 a.m. the latest.
Yeah.
And they said their next flight was like 3 p.m. the next day. So that wasn't going to work out. So I went on my phone and actually found a flight. Their system didn't show. So found that, showed them, got tickets to that. And that basically took me back to Denver. So back east or west, sorry. And then I could go to, I think it was Philadelphia or somewhere over there. A little closer to the East Coast. Then I had to jump from there to Boston, rent a car, and drive north to Maine.
Yeah.
So it was flights all night long. I landed in Boston at 8:00 a.m. So flights and layovers all night. Rented a car, drove up there. My bag had got lost through all that, so I didn't have my charger. I didn't have my charger. Didn't have my room yet because I came straight to there. So one of the guys, I'm blanking on his name right now, but Super Safety team driver, Daniel Fink. There we go.
Yeah.
So he helped me solder a plug on my truck in the parking lot. I showed you my truck really quickly. You said, looked around, said, looks legal, looks good. I had measured it 20 times, so I knew I was okay. And I used for my first course, I had a pack that was like 45% charged. So I just threw that in there, picked the shortest course, I hope. And ran. And then borrowed 2 more packs from Daniel and finished out my courses for the day and ended up, I don't know. I don't think I could do it again, honestly. But such a rush.
Definitely, when you are rushing like that, you don't feel the pressure of the courses or the performances that much.
Yeah, there was no, a lot of people want to stand around, kind of watch a few people run, and there was none of that. There was
you went straight in.
Yeah, come over here. Here's your next course. Do you have a battery? Okay, go get one. And then I didn't see
any. I didn't see any of your performances, unfortunately. But I saw the results, and they spoke from themselves.
That was definitely a highlight for me. Still is. I don't know if I'll ever beat that.
It's a memory, definitely adventure.
Yeah, that was my goal. I mean, the rest of the experience, meeting everyone, the other classes, that was all just on top. All I wanted to do was podium or put it on the top spot in performance scale with out of the box truck. So that was my pure goal.
That went well.
It did, but I don't know if I could duplicate it again.
Yeah. How did you do on the other classes then?
I don't remember.
Not well enough if you don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember pro, but I know I was 4th in sporty and top. I think I was 5th or 6th in super, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe fifth, I think. Yeah, with that rig that you drove with, it was really good result.
Yeah, I had never driven it before, never driven a super. So
Yeah.
that was I knew I could drive a rear steer truck from class 3. So I figured I'll combine that, and then if I get in trouble, I can turn a motor on or off. And even that didn't go to plan because my ESCs started engaging the motors at different times. So I was finishing courses and like rear wheel pushing the fronts. It was just it was a mess, but it was fun.
Yeah, still fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, no weights. Everyone was luckily Joao helped me. Got a few pieces from him, so I can put some weight hangers on there before I go to Arizona. But
that's good. That'll help massively, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole new rig after that.
Yeah. So it was fifth there, never driving that super, and then I'd driven sporty before, but never the truck that I ran at Worlds. So I ran one of the prototype EXO sporty chassis, and I had driven, I think, one pack through it before I left just to make sure it worked. So that worked out. That's a testament to that chassis. I just jumped right into it and drove. So
and it looked good on the courses. We were in the same group, so
not too bad. There were definitely times where you guys had me, but for the most part, it was
that's the experience. Yeah,
some sort of it.
Although we had really tough group, we had some seriously good drivers in there. So
there was. I mean, there was no short of talent at Worlds. It was incredible to see. I was like, man, the best I can do looking at this course, I think maybe 10 points to give. And then at the end of the day, I'm looking at the scores and the top 10 ran it perfect. And I'm like, how? I didn't see that. So it was amazing. And I was like, man, I wish I could drive and watch everyone simultaneously.
Yeah. And it was funny after the sporty comp, I was like, I wasn't perfect, but I'm not too. I'm pretty happy still on my own performance. There was only this one bonus gate that threw me out of the line, and I had to take a repo to get back. And then I think when I drove it, I still hit the gate, so it was quite many points lost.
The drop off.
Yeah. I dropped on the other side towards the water, what was like just next to the boundary. So I didn't want to take my chances and dip it into that water, so I had to take a repo. Yeah, but mistake like that put me in the 10th place. So it escalates really quickly. But it was good that it was already on the first course, because then I didn't know what kind of courses will be coming, so I didn't take it so seriously. If I would have known at that time that now the first 5 positions are basically gone, that would put my spirits down. But they were good courses.
That was the best quality of courses I think I've ran for those classes. And it was all challenging, but I don't think there was maybe one gate that pops into my mind that wasn't drivable to me, but I heard one person made it. So and it was a bonus gate.
The one bonus. Yeah,
with our fun little box from James. From Turbo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think Dave made it. But I think it's mainly because the rig is so much wider, so he could reach further.
Yeah, you could put it on an angle and have that reach. Because he was wider. Yeah.
But I think it must have been just millimeter here or there, and you screw it.
It had to be, because I went back and off the clock and tried it maybe 20 times, I tried it 4 times on the clock. So
I remember.
Yeah, I never got it. It would get close, maybe grab one pin and then fall or slide or turn. Yeah. It was awesome to watch the group we were in though.
Yeah. That's true. Okay. So now I want to dig in the case Axial. So since when you have been working there and how did it start?
So 2020,
Yeah.
I think, I was working at a full-size off-road shop in LA and designing, pre-runners and trophy trucks, race buggies, things like that. And that it happened to be the company that makes the full-size laser nut Ultra 4 car.
Yeah.
So when Losi came out with that, like 2 or 3 of them just showed up in the office before they were released. I was like, that's cool because I was already into RC, was already driving, crawling on the weekends. And I don't know, just something with my brain clicked on what if I could design those for work?
Yeah.
So that night I went on Horizon Hobby's website and looked at their job openings, and there was an engineer opening, put a resume together, typed it up, and submitted it. I think it was like the next night, less than 24 hours. And I was my dad always taught me if you want it something, you better be persistent. So I called every other day for like a month until I got an answer.
Okay.
So I would call the front desk. Hello, hello, Wyatt. No, he hasn't gone back to me. So I called and called, and because even if I annoyed them and they said no, at least I would get an answer. So
exactly.
I called and called and finally got an interview, and by that time it was the whole pandemic, and it was a phone interview, not even a video, just talking with 2 or 3 other guys on the phone. They saw my resume. We talked for a few minutes. They emailed me over an offer. I signed it, and they said, all right, give your 2 weeks, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on a Monday. You pick up your computer and meet everyone in person. So little interesting because I never actually saw or met anyone before I was hired. But that's how that got started. Just going on their website and looking at job openings, and that's I think there might even be one right now. So if you're interested, the bottom of Horizon Hobby has the careers tab, and some of them are remote, some of them aren't, but so that's how that got started.
So anything is possible then.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. And this was, of course, before the Scale Nationals that year.
Yes. So this was before the Scale Nationals in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I showed them my truck, and I got Axial as a sponsor, talking with some of the guys there, and then had a few guys come out and watch the truck run and see how the comp scene was. Because a lot of the Rich came out. He hadn't been in comps for a while, so I was like, yeah, come on out, check it out. It's not WRCCA, but it's a high-level scale truck, or scale, sorry, scale trucks, and check it out. So he came out, checked it out, and that was still newer in the work relationship there. So you're still trying to figure out, like, who is this kid? Like, does he know what he's talking about? So so that was pretty cool to have that, and then that kind of just progressed that SCX10 Pro coming to market.
Yeah. So when you started building that rig, what was the thought process behind it? Like, where did you start? What did you want to do?
So I had my truck that I was running already, but it was just a mix match of parts because I can't manufacture my own gears or shafts, things like that. So it was, I think my transmission had gears from SSD, Axial, Traxxas. I mean, there were just a bunch of gears and shift linkages in there that I could find. So the transmission, I have the truck if you want me to show it.
Yeah.
The transmission was like 3 inches long. Like, it was crazy.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
from there to there was the whole transmission all centered in the truck. And so this was the truck I ran. I had my own chassis rails I designed and cut out. Just AR-44s. I mean, it was custom, but it was yeah, it was a whole bunch of parts, and I knew I could refine it if I had the chance to make my own gears, shafts, molded parts instead of printed parts could be a little thinner, just things like that. So when they said, okay, we're doing this, start designing, I already had in my head, okay, I know the truck functions. I know an offset differential would be nice because I wanted to put the servo sideways behind the axle so it doesn't drag as much, just a little tighter. Then you get the motor that much more forward. And so just stuff like that I really wanted to refine, basically, because I've been driving this truck since the end of 2019, so almost a full year with my version. And then designed the Pro, did the body, so that was the old low-C body, the comp crawler, and I just widened it, changed some body lines and stuff for the Pro body. So, oh, I think you're. Oh, there you are. You're back, at least on my end. So yeah, I got to refine it, and then eventually got the first sample and ran that for over a year before it came out. So they were giving me a hard time because I couldn't show it. So I was wrapping it in sweatshirts, sitting in line, then unwrap it, put a battery in, run, wrap it back up. And so it was it was a whole event and process to get it to market, but my main goal was just to get more people into it. So you can buy a kit off the shelf, assemble it, put wheels and tires and body, whatever you like on it, and then go to a comp and feel that you have a vehicle that's capable and that you can see what you can do as a driver was my goal.
So basically, the designing started already in 2020, and when did it come out?
It was 22, I think, because it was just a year ago, a few months ago. So a few months back, maybe February, it was exactly a year, I think. So maybe beginning of 23. Yeah, I think beginning of 23. Yeah, it was a good bit of time. So yeah, there was a lot of testing on that platform.
Good, what I see people running them. So yeah. Okay. So I have one more thing here. Like, what are your plans for like this season and for the future? What more do you want to do with Axial and with?
So for this year, I have Arizona next weekend, and then I have East Coast Championship in Alabama next month. There's a few local club comps, and then I'm going to make my way over to Italy for Eurocrawl in September. So yeah, that I'm really looking forward to that. I've never been there, never traveled quite like that one time in my life. So that should be really fun. Gonna can't stay as long as you stayed in the U.S. That was amazing. But try and stay a little over a week and a half. So get to explore the area a little bit and get some crawling in, meet a bunch of people. I'm really looking forward to that trip.
Okay.
So, nope. Nothing's booked yet.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
we will have to see how many landings this time.
I hope not too many.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so should probably do that soon.
It would be a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I'm really looking forward for the year, the big one. So usually I go to Super Shafty Fall Crawl. That's a fun one in Maryland. I won't be making that one this year, unfortunately. So that's WRCCA, SORCCA, both of those too. So.
You will run all the not all the classes, but everything except for the mini, I think.
Yes, in Italy for Eurocrawl.
Yeah.
Yes, everything but mini. I can't bring myself to build one.
Yeah.
I don't it's weird for me. It's close to class 1 size, but it's not that long, but it's narrower. I don't know. So I'll stick with the other classes for now.
Yeah. It's probably good. But yeah, there should be like what altogether over 100 people coming to the Eurocrawl, so we had to limit the participation because the registration went mad. I've never seen anything like that before.
That's good.
So I was usually I put the registration open like usual. I put it open on the first day of the so people can slowly start registering in when they feel they want to do it. And this time it didn't go like that. It went when I had to answer and then I was looking at like 50 unopened messages and I was like, okay, now amounts. So 82 drivers in performance scale and shafty, and then 42 in mini and 30 in super.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Everybody who has like paid, so it's looking good for the competition. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm used to the comps selling out like that. So as soon as I saw it, I was on there and put my name in, register. Because I mean, usually for the competitions here in the last year or so, if you're not there in the first 5 minutes, you're trying to find tickets from somebody else later. So, but that's good that it's like that over there too. It must be popular as well.
To the question, I think there are a few already.
You're frozen on my end. So I think I lost you, or you lost me.